hashtag for Kyle.
For Ninong.
For Ninong, there you go. For Ninong. Prayers up.
How about Ninong Strong?
Ninong Strong.
Hey, bro, you're a milk guy.
This guy is a calcium expert.
Daryl is wearing a tracksuit. And he's wearing glasses, and he looks like Vector from Despicable Me. That guy from Despicable Me.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Large Guys Podcast, the best show not on television. I'm your host, Joseph Quiray, and the last couple episodes has just been me and Paulo, but this time we swapped them out for another Pinoy with slightly more hair. So,
let's go.
Yeah, so it's looking a little different here, but he hasn't been here for a while, and he can probably explain what he's been up to. Because honestly, I can't remember the last time Daryl was on an episode.
I was gonna say, like, it's been a few months. It's been
but like probably since August or July.
Yeah, seriously. Honestly, when everything started opening up again, like everything was becoming normal again. Like, I was like, all right, peace out, guys. Like, but no, it's good to be back. Especially with Christmas just a few days away. So yeah, good to be here. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this episode. So we'll see what JQ has in store for us. So yeah, let's do it.
Speaking of the world opening up, how many different cities have you been to since the summer? I feel like honestly, we could even bring it back to like all of the pandemic, really, because COVID didn't stop you from
no, nothing, man. Like, no, it's nice. Like, so, like, even I feel like the last few months, like, I've been like going somewhere. October I was back in May I went to like SoCal, and then back in October I went back to SoCal, like pretty much the same places I went to. It's the reason for that was my wife has a business conference, and like she told me about like the nice like hotel that she's staying at, and I'm like, yo, let me just like tag in, like, you know what I mean, like let me just tag along, like they have like this it's like one of those 5-star hotels, like nice. And then in November last month we were in Miami Beach, and I was like, I've never been to Miami, so I was like, hey, let's go. So while she was at the conferences, I was like, I biked down to like South Beach and everything and just kind of like chilled there. So, just trying to like take advantage of like the benefits of my wife's conference and like the work that she does, kind of thing. So you gotta do what you gotta do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like how like when we were younger, like our parents would go to the CFC conferences.
Yeah, that's exactly
away from the hotel.
Right. But now, like, I don't have to like tell them where I'm going. Just
yeah.
You know what I mean?
you don't have a curfew either.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was pretty fun. That was pretty cool. It's just funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Hey, so you did SoCal twice, San Diego, right? Not like LA.
Yeah. San Diego, and then we drove up to LA.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So it's pretty dope. Just driving up the Pacific Coast Highway. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then you'll be in Dallas in April.
I know. Let's go, man! I'm excited. Yeah, Mania.
All four. That's speaking of Mania. I guess we have to tell the story about what happened when we were buying our tickets. So we all decided probably like a month or two ago that we wanted to go to WrestleMania again, just like we did like 6 years ago, I guess. When Daryl Mania 2016, yeah. And so we wanted to recreate that. Obviously Pau didn't go with us. We had Pau hop in with us, and so we were trying to figure it out in the group chat, like, does one person buy the tickets and then we all pay them back? And then Kyle was like, no, let's just all pick a section and then like coordinate and then buy it ourselves so nobody has to pay anybody. I was like, yeah, that kind of makes more sense. So I owed Pau for something. So I bought Pau and my ticket, and then we were all put in the chat like what section. It was like section whatever, and then seat whatever. So we all had it coordinated, and Kyle and I both bought our tickets already. So we had 3 of us already had our tickets. And then Daryl, do you want to explain what happened after that?
Yeah. So like, I think we were buying it on SeatGeek, right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't have an account yet, so I was like, all right, let me download the app real quick, and like, and what now? I didn't even download the app yet. I was just on the website on my phone.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, I think this is the section that we're talking about. So I went and bought it. I was like, all right, this looks right. And then I was like, I looked at like the message thread and like all their like, their section. And then I saw their seat numbers. I was like, oh shoot, I don't think I'm on that. I think there's like 3 or 4 people like in between, like let's say me and Kyle kind of thing. So I was like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do kind of thing. So I think I just had to like cancel it, and I was like, I actually ended up downloading the app to kind of like look for my seat, but I was just cracking up because I was just like, damn it, this had to happen.
Yeah, it was just funny because like you sent a screenshot of where yours was, and yeah, like there was at least like 5 seats.
Yeah.
And we were like, what happened? Like I think it was like 15, 16, and then Kyle got
Like
17.
Yeah.
Somehow you got like 24.
Yeah, something like that. It would have just been hilarious. Like just trying.
Yeah,
Honestly, if I wasn't able to like cancel my order or something like that, I think that would have
like
been.
imagine
That pretty funny.
we had to spend Mania with like
Yeah,
5 dudes in between us. And
just having to like look over kind of thing. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, but it all worked out, right?
Yeah, it did.
It all worked
Thankfully, oh my gosh.
All worked
I
out.
would have
So
honestly
now
just
they're-
gone back to the standing section.
True.
Yeah, if that happened, but
Yeah. So
so it should be fun.
we have upgraded a bit from last time. We did standing room only last time, which honestly wasn't bad. Like the view.
Yeah, that was like what 100 level, pretty much like the end.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad at all.
It wasn't a bad view. The only thing that sucked is that like once we got to our spot, because we somehow were like the first people in the standing area. Like if we had to go to the bathroom or anything, we would have lost our spot.
Yeah.
Basically, you had to hold it for
Like
solid
4 hours or something like that, right? Like
it was probably like 5 hours for the whole show, plus like another hour of like when we waited in line.
Yeah.
To get in at
Yeah,
first.
because that was an entire day. Like
Yeah,
holy
man.
crap. That was like I remember we went to mass in the morning and then grabbed like lunch.
Yeah.
And then just the entire day, literally we were there. So
Yeah. Like luckily, did you guys buy shirts too, or was I the only one that bought a shirt?
no, I think you were the only one.
I was the only one, but like
Well, I
luckily,
think Kyle and I already had a shirt.
that's right. You guys already did, but like luckily, I decided to do that right when we got there instead of like.
Yeah, like I think we were even outside when we bought it.
I think so too.
Like
Yeah,
one of those like
probably would have
those
had
trucks
no
or something like that. Yeah.
I would have had no chance to buy a shirt like if I waited any longer.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that was good times. But yeah, the podcast will be at WrestleMania. Maybe we'll
We'll do a live. We'll do a live. We'll go live.
Yeah, I was gonna
Just
say, do
real
they
quick.
allow people to like record? I guess you can record on.
I don't see why not. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how can they like police like everybody? Like
That's
before
true. Yeah,
they
there's
do
gonna
it
be
and
like
stuff?
100,000 people or something like that.
Yeah,
I can't remember
seriously.
last time how many there were, but it's probably gonna be packed. But this time we're sitting, thank God.
You know,
So and which means that like now that we have actual seats, if we wanted to get food, if we wanted to get drinks, we can actually like get up and
Yeah, I know.
go to the bathroom, get
Not-
drinks, get food.
not be afraid to lose our seat or anything.
Yeah, it won't be a problem. So luckily, we have that all squared away. But yeah, that's something to look forward to in April. I'm pretty excited for it. But yeah, so let's just jump right into it. The reason why we're doing this episode is because Spider-Man: No Way Home premiered almost a week ago, and like I usually when something comes out, we don't always all like get to watch it. I think in the same weekend. So like usually like we have to like talk to each other separately about like stuff that's going on. But like and we didn't even really talk in our chat about it that much, but all of us got to see it on the premiere weekend.
Yeah.
I had a chance to watch it Thursday night when it came out, like hella late. It was like basically 11 p.m. And then luckily I was working from home the next day, so it wasn't like that bad. But like I think I got out the movie. It was like almost 2 o'clock, and I was like, dude.
Oh wow.
But
Was it packed? Was your movie theater packed?
yeah.
It had to be, yeah.
They had showings, like basically every like 20, 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Starting from like I saw like 4 o'clock. I think people were like watching all the way through like I think 12:30 or
Yeah.
like midnight was the last showing. But yeah, there was hella people. At least when we got there. By the time we left, and it was like almost 2 a.m, there's like nobody there. But yeah, it was people were like making a big deal about like getting their tickets early. I was able to get it like the week of, basically, so it wasn't
Oh, okay.
that big of a deal.
And
but
you had decent seats. Like it wasn't bad at all or
yeah,
anything.
we had very good seats.
Okay.
Yeah, how was the theater when you went there? You went
So I ended up going Saturday night, opening weekend. So this past Saturday night. And I mean, for you, I mean I didn't even take the chance. I bought my tickets literally like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks before the movie came out, kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, because the what's nice about the theater that we went to was like one of those like reserve seating, like recliner seats, kind of thing like that. So I'm like,
yeah.
I know they're kind of limited, so I was like, I had to reserve my seats. So but no, it was pretty packed, and I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, this Spider-Man movie it's probably the most anticipated, probably since Endgame. Like, you know what I mean? Of all the Marvel movies.
Sure.
I mean, especially like since the pandemic started, like this was probably like the biggest movie that has come out like in theaters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, and just all the rumors have like, with who's gonna be in the movie, like, I don't want to like spoil anything yet, but like who's gonna be in the movie, like who's gonna show up, like is this person gonna be there or not, kind of thing, So like everyone was just, I mean, I was just dying to watch it. Like, and leading up to this past weekend, I knew I wanted to watch all the Spider-Man movies, all the Tobey movies and all the Andrew Garfield movies, just to see if like there might be something there that you kind like that they might add in No Way Home. And I mean, honestly, like I gotta say, I was not disappointed with No Way Home. Like, without like spoiling anything yet, I know I'm sure we're gonna do like some sort of warning where spoilers are gonna happen, but it definitely lived up to my expectations. So it was, yeah, definitely must watch.
For sure. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know what the ticket sales for Endgame, like how that ended up being, but I think if there's one movie that's gonna like beat them in the box office, it'd have to be this one, just because.
Yeah.
Like you said, like I don't think any movie had been this anticipated like that since Endgame. And I mean, yeah, if you're a Spider-Man fan, like this precedes the MCU even, because Tobey's I think came out like 03 or something, like super early.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, like if you were a fan of any of, I mean, because I know some people really like the Tobey movies, and then some people didn't, and then some people really like the Andrew Garfield movies, and then some people didn't. So like, I feel like some people are kind of like they either liked one or the other like more.
Yeah.
But like this kind of brought everything together, and I think I'm confident to say that Tom Holland officially is the best Spider-Man.
Ooh, we can that could be a topic. That could be a topic we can talk about.
We'll kind of save that for like the end before like other important things. But like just like based on like, I think also he's had the benefit of being in multiple movies, like not just his own. So like he first popped up in
like Civil War, right? Exactly.
Yeah, and he was in Infinity War as well. So like he does have that benefit, and obviously like there were a lot of feel good moments there, like emotional moments there. But yeah, I think Tom Holland is doing really well. So yeah, but it was just really cool to see all of them. Like you said, like the rumors had been like that ever since I think production for the movie was announced.
Yeah, right.
Ever since ever since like we found out that like the multiverse was going to be a thing, and when like there was rumors of like, oh yeah, I think eventually X-Men are going to come in, and all like these other properties, people are like, okay, well then Tobey and Andrew have to come in too, like if they're going to do that, like especially like this has to be the time. So
Damn. Yeah.
I think
I didn't hear about those rumors about like X-Men coming in. That'd be nuts.
like
Yo, holy
we're
crap.
gonna get X-Men, we're gonna get a legit Fantastic Four.
Oh my god. Holy crap.
Yeah, hopefully like one that's not like super corny. But yeah, I don't even know what their plans are for. I think they're gonna take a long time for the X-Men stuff to happen. Like I don't know if they want to bring in like some of the same actors from like certain characters, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I know they had like a whole young class of like actors for like the young X-Men. So maybe they bring those people in. I'm not sure. And then obviously we saw in Spider-Man that Matt Murdock is there.
Yeah.
So like
Oh man.
hopefully that's the beginning of more of the Netflix. I mean, if it's only gonna be Daredevil, and like people from his show, I'm already fine with that. But like if we get like Luke Cage and like the Punisher and all of them, Jessica Jones,
Yeah.
Iron Fist can kind of he can just he doesn't have to come in. But yeah, if we can get more of those characters, that'd be really cool. But yeah, I would say overall, I think this we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but I think this movie exceeded expectations. And like leading up to it, I was telling one of my friends that I went to the movie with, I was like, all right, like the week of, I was like, I'm not gonna watch any like Spider-Man like rumors or like videos that like people are predicting things, because like I don't want to hype myself up too much and like set myself up for failure, because that's what I did with the Eternals. Did you watch the Eternals?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I was really excited for it, and I like read up on like the comics and all like the backstory about it, and like the movie. It was the most disappointing movie of Marvel this year, which is a high bar because all the movies were good.
Right.
But
Someone coming in.
Somebody is this Kyle?
Yo, on his iPad. Hey, what's up, man?
I knew he was gonna show up.
Dude came out of nowhere.
Wow, we got a run in.
We got a surprise entrant for the Royal Rumble.
Yes, it's here. I had a feeling that this was gonna happen. I had a feeling. But like I was saying, yeah, like Eternals was kind of disappointing, but so that's why I didn't want to do the same thing going to Spider-Man. And so I was like, I'm not gonna watch anything like the week of, and everything was great, I thought. But man, we are joined now by our third co-host coming in on his iPad. Is that your iPad?
No, man, it's not. I don't want to disclose any more information.
Okay.
So.
All right. While Kyle's getting situated, yeah, did you feel the same way? I guess I know you mentioned a little bit, but like your expectations for the movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess going back, just to kind of follow up on Eternals, I didn't really know the backstory of it. I honestly just went to watch it, and it's a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? It's a pretty star-studded cast too. So that's why I was like, all right, let's go. I enjoyed it. I just don't know like anything that's happening, like who's what and what does this mean, kind of thing like that. So I mean, again, so I guess I enjoyed it in that way. But yeah, going back to like Spider-Man,
very good movie.
What was that?
Visually, like
like all the
really good.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, like I mean, going back to Spider-Man, I think it was funny because I was every time I was like starting like Wednesday night, Thursday night, like every time I'm on like social media, Instagram, everyone's stories, anything like somebody posts some sort of semblance of like Spider-Man, I'm like shutting off my phone, like turning off the stories kind of thing, just because I'm like, I don't want to ruin anything for myself, just because I know it's 2021 and like people should know better, but Some people don't. You know what I mean? Some
They
people are
don't.
assholes like that kind of thing. So, but yeah, so I was just like, and everyone's like, like, oh, best Marvel movie ever, blah blah blah, and I'm like, and like yourself, I didn't want to hype myself up just to get disappointed, but I don't know, man. This one kind of like, I was geeking out the entire movie. Whether it was
Oh, yeah, me too.
I guess we're going with the spoilers already, but so I guess whether it was, right, Andrew Garfield coming out, because I think Tobey Maguire kind of like, I had an idea he will be there.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield was kind of like the bigger mystery, just because he kept saying like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna be in it. I'm just a fan." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So like him coming in and like, I was just like, "Holy crap!" Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just like that, like that pop. Like the theater popped, like for sure. Like
for sure.
Especially like especially like the older like Spider-Man fans. With Tobey Maguire and whatnot. Obviously that scene too with Ned showing his Filipino heritage and having his Lola there, I think that one, like I enjoyed myself too, just because it's just funny, it's like understanding what the Lola was saying, just to kind of like clean up after your, like clean up, or like get that cobweb up on the corner kind of thing like that. That was just hilarious. So, and I mean, like you mentioned, with Matt Murdock, like that was like, I actually kind of think that's kind of like a forgotten thing, just because of all the like the wow moments of the movie, and so casual fans probably wouldn't know who he is, or like wouldn't really recognize who he is, but like, I mean, just the fact that like, that's his lawyer, you know what I mean? So it was just like, it was nuts. It was nuts, just all the different like symbolisms here and there, and just them kind of like tying everything together, of like how they ended up helping each other out, and like how they're like connected somehow, some way, with their loss and with their grief, kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
And it was definitely like one of the top like Marvel movies for sure.
For sure. Yeah. I think it's funny, like there's a random dude next to me, and he was also like kind of geeking out. And like when Matt Murdock first showed up, he was like, "Oh man, this is already the best movie ever." I was like, yo, we're like 10 minutes in, chill out.
No, seriously.
Hold on. But yeah, like it was literally just like fan moment after fan moment.
Yeah.
And like I think especially when we didn't even get much of Matt Murdock.
No, not at all. He had like 10 seconds in the movie. Yeah, exactly.
Which is fine, but I think the implications of like the fact that his character is now in the MCU going forward, like we're gonna expect something Daredevil related. That's something to be really excited about. But then like when Andrew and Tobey came in, like did you get emotional? I got emotional.
Yeah, like man, like just to see like, especially I mean like for me, I was still like, I was like 10 or 12 years old when like the first Spider-Man came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and the fact that it was like 20 years later, Dude, like you were mentioning, it's like, and he's like, it's still him. It's still the same Spider-Man kind of thing. So
yeah.
And I just forgot to mention, even like the end credit scene with Venom, with Eddie Brock. It's like there's so many like stuff that could happen just because of the multiverse.
Yeah.
Like they can go so many directions with is because this Venom he's not in Tom Holland's universe, right? He's not in the MCU, but can he be in like Andrew Garfield's universe? You know what I mean? It's like they can go so many directions. Yeah. And then like having him leaving a part of the...
Get me water from the garage, please.
All right, cool.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think the mic is hooked up to your headphones, huh?
Oh, so like
Yo,
this thing can just, y'all can hear.
Like we heard that clearly.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that was dope.
Well, shout outs to Bluetooth headphones. this isn't my usual setup, but you know, I had to make do, and I was like, no way, I'm gonna pull a Daryl and do speaker mode. Like, no freaking
Yo,
way.
yo, I got
But I
headphones
see.
now, bro.
I know. Wow, this
Let's
man.
go.
It's been a while. It's been a while
It's been
because
that
you know
long.
I've missed so much. I came back. This man has headphones. Wow, thanks. Hey, I got the water. I got the water.
Hey, shout out.
Shout out to
Nice.
Kenji. Yeah, you know how he does it. He was like playing a duo in Fortnite or something. I don't know. I don't play. I don't really know the terminology. But hey, y'all were going back earlier talking about how the Eternals were whack.
For me, it was a little disappointing. I wouldn't say
Hey,
whack.
I mean, what you trying to expect, bro? You trying to get like a WandaVision type like feel?
No, not necessarily. I just think that like they didn't because I think it was going to be difficult because there were so many new characters that they were bringing in. But like, for example, like if Selma Hayek's character Ajak is supposed to be like the prime Eternal, only one that can speak the Celestial, and y'all literally killed her, like, and she only gets like 10 minutes of screen time. I'm just kind of like, I don't know about that. Like, I felt like we could have at least explored a little bit more about her and like certain other characters. But what I will say is that I thought Druig and what's the one that's really fast? The girl, I forgot her name.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but him, and then like basically all the ones that are alive, I think they did a really good job to make us care about them. But then like Sprite, bro, like Sprite was annoying as hell, bro. Like, there was like we could have done without her. Like we could have really done without her. But
She
yeah,
was a loser,
just
bro.
certain things.
What a loser! Like she was #1 hater. Like,
No,
come
for
on,
real.
bro.
Like the whole.
I mean, I get it. I
whole
understand.
Is
But
that the kid? Is
Yeah,
Sprite
the
kid?
one that like is young. Yeah, Sprite.
Yeah, okay.
Super annoying.
See, I don't know how Ajak became like #1 leader when I don't know. I feel like if you can't fly, you're automatically can't be the leader, bro. Like you're already a handicap. Like, how are you? It was just like, bro, that's it. Like she got dropped off a cliff and then it's night. Like, what's she gonna do anyways? Like, no power, bro. Not even.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They could have given her something. You know, like they had the power.
Like what was her thing? Like, do you think
She had like mind control.
the same thing Druid has?
Like a different type. Like I remember she was able to remember when Angelina Jolie's character, like when they had that flashback and she was having like her little episode, she was like able to like stop her.
You basically.
Hey man, Kai, you're gonna have to fix that Wi-Fi, bro, on the iPad.
He's on 3G.
I think he's using the first gen iPad.
How dare y'all? Oh no, it's not, bro.
Dang, this is supposed to be Kyle's.
All right.
This is Kyle's glorious comeback, and this is what we get for his comeback.
I know. Your headphones are trying to save you, but I don't know about your iPad, bro.
Am I still?
Yeah. You were good for like 10 seconds.
Maybe it's not meant to be. Actually, Kenji, where's the Mac? Where's the MacBook? What do you mean you don't know?
Yo, keep this on the recording.
Back to the Spider-Man topic. I didn't want to bring up a couple things. So first off, let's talk about the different villains that were brought back in, because all of the villains that came back in were either from Tobey or Andrew's movies. Yeah. And obviously, we should start with Green Goblin because Willem Dafoe continues to. I swear, Willem Dafoe looks younger than when he was last seen on screen. I don't know how he does it, but definitely Green Goblin, as he should be, was, even though there were 5 or 4 other villains, he was really like the main one.
Yeah.
I mean, He killed Aunt May, so like that, like he did the most.
Yeah.
But what was your reaction to Goblin, and then of course like the other ones? I thought Doc Ock was really cool to see. I thought they did him a lot more justice this time than before, and then I also thought Electro was redeemed in this one because he was kind of whack last time we saw him.
I think like for sure Green Goblin. I think probably my favorite thing about the MCU's version of this Green Goblin is that they destroyed his mask. I think William Dafoe, like he's such a good actor and he has like such good like facials that like he doesn't need the mask. You know, I feel like if anything, the mask kind of like hinders his acting ability a little bit, you know, because I mean I know that's a big part of Green Goblin, at least in the comics. It's like a big part of it, but I think that I thought it was really cool that he destroyed the mask, and it kind of made you think in the movie that maybe he's maybe he got that side, like he's like he's not an antagonist, he's a protagonist kind of thing.
It's definitely a swerve.
Yeah, kind of like it was a nice swerve that like like because it ended up being Aunt May like helping him out in the shelter. It's kind of what started like what just the premise of the movie of like of Peter Parker or Spider-Man like finding the good in everyone, or like giving everyone a second chance kind of thing like that. So yeah, for sure Green Goblin was, I mean, he was again like another part of like another great part of the movie. Honestly, I could have done without Sandman. Like I even in the original like Spider-Man, like I think he was on the Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably the worst Spider-Man movie out of like all the Spider-Man movies, just because it was like so bad. But anyways, so I could have done without him, honestly. Lizard was, I mean, did he play that big of a role? I don't think he played that big of a role in this one. Like, I think it was just to kind of have like all the other villains in the movie.
Right.
It was interesting, like what you were saying with Electro. I definitely like this version of Electro much better. I just found it weird that he went from being like this nerdy like engineer like guy that worked at Oscorp, all of a sudden he's like this badass like,
you gotta glow up.
Yeah, exactly, like the type of like character that you'd think Jamie Foxx would like play kind of thing, So it was like they didn't really explain it, like they kind of mentioned it a little bit, but it was just kind of like, what the heck just happened, but I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. And I mean Doc Ock was pretty cool too, just to kind of see him back. Probably one of my favorite Spider-Man villains is Doc Ock for sure. What do you call it? But I kind of wish they had more of a. I mean, I know they had that scene in the highway and the traffic jam, but like he ended up being like what helped the other three Spider-Mans, defeat. I think Electro, right? He's the one who grabbed it. I thought he was gonna like turn on them when he had the what is that? What did he have? The Electro had to kind of give him all the power. The
arc reactor.
Yeah, there you go. He had the arc reactor, and I thought like when he said like I have the power of the sun in my hands. That's pretty much what he's been saying in the original movie. So I thought that was gonna be a swerve where he starts going against them, kind of, but yeah, again, like no complaints for me. But honestly, yeah, it was. I honestly thought like Green Goblin or Norman Osborn was gonna kill Tobey. That I thought like he got him like with his blade, and I'm like, wait, so he's still good, he's still alive. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's just interesting.
And it was just funny, like Toby's reaction. He's like, "I'll be fine." Like
yeah.
He's like, "I'll be fine." I was like, "What?" Like
it's like, wait a minute, you just got like stabbed right in like, I don't know, whatever. But no, it was. I mean, it was fun. It was pretty funny because I don't know if you remember that scene when they kind of just when Andrew Garfield was helping him up, and they're just smiling at Tom Holland, right? And then Andrew Garfield kind of mentions like, "You're in so much pain right now, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah," like you know what I mean. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the villains were. I mean, if I had to say, obviously like Green Goblin, but I really like this version of Electro. Like, I wish this Electro was what we saw in the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, man. There
'Cause-
was no reason for him to glow blue. I'm sorry.
yeah, exactly.
There was
Like,
no reason.
this was
for that.
fine. Like, yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good, like, I forgot that he was like he wasn't even like human anymore. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah, he was basically
just like
just
hologram of some sort. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah, and I thought they did a good job of giving Jamie Foxx some like really good one-liners, because I thought he had some like really just funny stuff that he was saying, especially when he was So I think one thing that like I've seen other people comment online, and I guess I kind of wondered this too, like how is this consistent? But like Electro in the Andrew Garfield movie, he never knew Peter's identity. So like, and the whole reason for all of these people coming in is because
They know
they
Peter.
all knew Peter. So I know it's easy to explain that, like maybe like off screen he found out, whatever, I guess.
Oh damn, you're right.
But like that whole time he like a couple things that weren't explained was the fact that he never knew who he was, and then also the fact that when he turned to human form, like you said, like this looks like just regular Jamie Foxx now. It doesn't look like a scientist.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm all for, because it made him look way cooler than
yeah, right. Like an actual villain of some sort. Right?
Yeah. Like those were two like things that were a little like if there's anything to complain about, like those are the small details that you could comment on. But when he finally does see Andrew Garfield, and he was like, "I thought you would have been black," and stuff like that, and then kind of like sowing the seeds of Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
In my head, I was like, man, if this wasn't the end of the movie, I would like be tempted to think that Miles Morales is just gonna show up. Like,
out of nowhere. Right, exactly. No, see, it's funny because I was telling that to my friend too. I was like, yo, like, is that kind of like a hint of some sort of like, we're gonna get maybe like a live action like Miles Morales, like,
I think we got
kind of thing. Like, it just oh man, like, because there were so many different things where they kind of like just mentioned like, oh, they could go here, they can go in different directions, So again, because of the multiverse, like they've opened so many like doors with like the multiverse, kind of thing. So I mean, I guess we'll see what what Marvel does, what Sony does, and whatnot, and all the different producers. So
for sure, yeah. But I thought the villains were really good. Like I said, Willem Dafoe did his thing out there. Did you see the thing on Twitter where he said like he would only agree to come back if they let him do like majority?
Yeah, his own stunts.
Like that.
And this man is what, 60 plus years old?
Something like that. I mean, he was already looking old the first time.
Yeah.
And so to think that he's still able to like physically do a lot of those scenes, especially like being on the glider, like I'm sure they have like those like cables that suspend them, but like I'm sure it's pretty difficult, like the scenes they did with the glider and whatnot, and the other fight scenes. But speaking of that, and speaking of Aunt May, like obviously they killed her. Was that something you expected? Because I think we kind of knew someone was gonna die.
I kind of expected Aunt May to die. I think because there always has to be some sort of like sense of purpose, sense of like, like in every story really, and that kind of just showed him like his sense of purpose, because the entire time, like from Homecoming, just Aunt May has been like, in compared to the other movies, Aunt May was his Uncle Ben, right? In Homecoming, or in this Tom Holland trilogy, is that she's been the one that's kind of like, nurturing him and like raising him and just kind of like showing him the way of what to do and what's right, what's wrong, kind of thing like that. And for her to show like, even though like she's being killed by this person she wants to save, she wants Peter Parker to save, and that it's still this is still the right thing to do. Like, I think that kind of just showed, like, his development of, like, being this kid who just wants to be part of the Avengers, to him being like, this superhero who wants to save the world from from all these villains, who wants to save, like, who wants to put his friends future in front of his, kind of thing like that, in front of his wants. So I think that was kind of like, I thought I kind of had a feeling she would die. I mean, it was still obviously emotional for her to see her die, kind of thing like that. Especially just the way, like, again, just the way it happened. She thought, like, she got hit by the glider, and then I was like, oh, she's alive, she's fine.
Yeah.
Never mind. No, she's not. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh man, but yeah, that was like one of the obviously more emotional parts of the movie, for sure.
Yeah, and then like that comes kind of more full circle when, like you were saying, like especially for the Spider-Man movies, like some kind of loss in their life for each version of Peter Parker is what kind of like forms them, and it's a big part of like them finding their purpose. And that scene where they're all talking about the people they've lost was another like really emotional one. And obviously, like Aunt May saying, like, with great purpose, there's great responsibility and stuff like that. Like that obviously hits home as well.
Yeah.
As Uncle Ben's line from the other two characters. But yeah, I thought them being able to relate to each other, because like at first Tom Holland's Peter Parker like told them, he's like, you guys don't know what it's like, blah blah blah, and they're like, well, we actually
do. Yeah.
I was like, especially Andrew Garfield, because like not only did he lose Uncle Ben, but like the way he lost Gwen Stacy is like tragic,
right. And he felt responsible for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and by the way, great touch when I think, because we saw it in the trailer too of MJ falling, I was like, it has to be Andrew Garfield. So
yeah, exactly. That was the thing. It's like me and my friend were saying for that trailer, it's like, okay, that seems a little too similar to like Gwen Stacy like falling. And like we weren't sure if it was Tom Holland or if Andrew Garfield's gonna save her. But I like the fact that it was Andrew Garfield, and kind of just shows like,
it was a great touch of like Tom Holland trying to do it, but he couldn't.
Yeah, but like Andrew Garfield seeing it and just like, jumping in, and like it was great that MJ asked, like, because he asked like, oh, are you okay? And then the fact that MJ asked him, kind of thing, and obviously that kind of like brought back memories for him, right? Yeah. Exactly, and the fact that he was able to save her, kind of thing. So yeah, so it was that was a great touch to that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I thought that was really good stuff with them relating. But I think just the three Spider-Men playing off of each other in general was great.
Yeah.
Obviously, them working together in the lab was pretty cool to see, because Peter's always been smart, but like seeing them kind of like using their experiences.
Yeah.
And then in the final scene where they're like using each other's momentum to like web off of each other and all this, that was really cool. And I got a question for you. So like they all had really good moments, and I think the reason why I like convinced myself Tom Holland, this is where we get into this debate, right? I think the reason why I have convinced myself that Tom Holland might be the best one is just because I think he's kind of encompassed the fullness of what Peter Parker should be, in my opinion. Because like something that bothered me about Tobey Maguire's version, and this is no fault of any of the actual actors, it's maybe more on the writing, but like it always seemed like Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker was like just like very like he was a little bland, like he was just a little like too nerdy, like just a normal guy. And then like they showed a little bit more personality with Amazing Spider-Man, and then here they actually presented him really like a kid, because that's really what he starts out as. He's a kid. And it's hard to like picture Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who were like already in their 20s, as like a kid, whereas Tom Holland was coming in like he was still pretty young.
like 17 or something when he started.
Yeah,
But
but then we see like all these great one-liners from Tobey Maguire, and I'm like, dude, this dude's actually really funny.
yeah,
Like if this is what we got in when he was actually Spider-Man, like
yeah,
probably would have changed my perception of Tobey Maguire.
yeah.
Because I always thought he was a little bit boring, and I was like, I don't
Mhm.
know why? Because I feel like this guy can do his
Can
thing.
act. Yeah, right.
But yeah, how did you feel about just like their dynamics and the different like, like you're amazing. No,
Yeah, yeah.
like, what did you think
No, yeah,
about
that was I see, and that was the thing. I think that's probably one of the things I enjoyed the most about it. It was that their chemistry was actually, it seemed like it was really good,
Yeah, so good.
Just again, like what you were saying, it's like no one seemed like they kind of like overshadowed the other.
Yeah,
Even like Tom Holland didn't even, I mean, it's his movie, but it didn't seem like he was overshadowing any of them, especially during the fight scene, right? Like
yeah,
the scene in the Statue of Liberty that didn't seem like anyone was, and that's what I enjoyed. And I think probably my favorite part was the fact that they kind of did the meme of the three Spider-Man pointing at
yeah.
each other when Ned like called out for Peter and they were in the lab and they were just like, wait, who we talking, you know what I mean, kind of thing. It was, I mean, I thank you to all the producers,
I
to the
know they had to
producers
do
and
that too.
directors. So that was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, like even that, just they showed like the nerdy side of Peter Parker, and they kind of just showed like the badass side of Peter Parker.
Yeah,
And again even with Andrew Garfield, like he kind of had like his redemption for I guess for the two movies that he did, because I thought he did great in this movie. I thought he was
oh
he
yeah,
was he was so funny in the movie, kind of thing.
yeah,
And the fact that that they kind of fought most of the time without their mask, just
yeah.
because I mean, obviously that's probably because so that we don't get confused, like, oh,
That's
which
true. Yeah,
Spider-Man is that? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Which Spider-Man is that? It's like all of these villains already know my identity, so let me just take off
exactly.
my mask,
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed I that's again that their chemistry was probably one of my favorite parts. Just again, just the all the laughs that they kind of like gave us, So
yeah.
definitely.
And I also appreciate Andrew Garfield addressing Ned's Lola as Lola. Like
Yeah,
he like
yeah.
actually
I noticed that too. That was
acknowledged
great.
that, and I was like, all right, Andrew Garfield. I was like,
Yeah,
this man's cultured apparently.
yeah. He
That was
knows.
really cool. But yeah, so and I think a big part of this movie was like kind of like you mentioned earlier, like Peter starting to make like more mature decisions. He's no longer this kid who just wants to be part of the team, but like he needs to be someone that can stand on his own, because that's what the first two Spider-Man did. And something I think that kind of indicated that was when they were about to go into that final battle scene, or actually in like midway through it, and they felt like they weren't winning, and
Yeah.
they're like Tom Holland's like, no, like we have to work as a team, and the other two like had no idea, and they had the joke about like who are the Avengers and all that stuff. But I think it was a good kind of like thing of where Tom Holland kind of taught them like in that moment like what it was like to use teamwork, but the other two were also kind of like mentoring him on like how to really stand on your own and like really be the Spider-Man that like everybody like is kind of used to. Because if you think about it, Tom Holland's Spider-Man's kind of had like a bit of a sheltered experience, because like he always had Tony and Happy kind of looking over him. That's what like the first two movies,
Yeah.
and also like Nick Fury in the second movie, like that's what all of his solo movies have looked like, is that like it's somebody kind of like looking over him. He's kind of answering to somebody, kind of like working within the confines of what he's allowed to do.
Right.
And of course, even with like a Civil War, also like he's again working for Tony Stark and stuff like that. But and he's had like a great support group of friends. Like he never had any real loss until Aunt May and all that. And so now like he loses Aunt May. Eventually, he makes a decision to like lose his friends for, I guess, a temporary thing. But I think it's because he understands that it's time for him to stand on his own for a bit, and whatever whatever villain he has to fight next, I think he's got to like really step
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Like just like the maturity that we see in him starting to like learn how to.
Yeah, and I think that kind of just I mean, again, it's the character development of, this Peter Parker, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just with this it's not just with the Homecoming and with Far From Home. I think it was also, like you said, with whether it was Civil War and like his interactions, I think, with Tony Stark, I think is what kind of helped him like develop to this character, to this role, for him to give up all the people he loves, pretty much, for them to not remember him. And I think that kind of just, I would like to think it's probably, what he experienced in Endgame, seeing how
Yeah.
Tony Stark, sacrificed himself
Mm-hmm.
pretty much to save the world, right? Like for
Yeah.
him to grab the gauntlet and snap his fingers, kind of thing, to get rid of Thanos, and knowing that that would kill him,
Mhm.
And I think that, I mean, obviously that kind of helps him like make his decision to, like, what, telling Doctor Strange, like, hey, just cast this spell, everyone can forget me as
Yeah.
long as it saves the world, kind of thing, like that. And
Mhm.
I think it even shows too, like you said, he could have just, told MJ and Ned, like, hey, like, this is what happened. We're all friends, But he saw, like, how happy they were, and like, that they were going to MIT and everything, and they're all like
Yeah.
excited. And he was just like, you know what? I'll let them live their life.
Yeah.
I need to live mine. I still need to be Spider-Man, and they're not gonna be able to, live their lives if they know I'm Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Kind of thing like that.
Right.
And so that kind of just showed, like, and then him having to like live on his own, pretty much, at the end of the movie. So yeah, I mean, I think that, like, that character development kind of just shows like who he is now, like you said. Like, it's interesting because in the first two Spider-Mans with Tobey and Andrew, they were like at the end of their high school years,
Yeah.
going into college.
Mhm.
With Tom, I believe he started off as a sophomore, then became a
Yeah.
junior, and then in this last one was when he was going to graduate, so he was a senior. So he was he's, like you said, he's a much younger Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So for him to like make these decisions, like for him to mature to this point, like it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty cool that, like, that they made this Peter Parker like this young, and being able to take on the responsibilities that he had to.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and then who knows, maybe this kind of like sets him on the path of like eventually, if and when, I assume they're going to do another Avengers team up, after they get all these solo movies out the way. But maybe that kind of sets him up to be, if not like the leader, because I feel like the first Avengers group, it was really like Cap and Stark.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of sets him up to be one of like the main leaders.
Yeah.
Maybe it's him and Strange, or him and the new Captain America, Anthony Mackie's character, or I don't know who else. Make Rocket the leader for all I care. Like let Rocket lead the Avengers, sure. But yeah, I think this sets him up to be like a one to really take seriously now too.
Yeah.
So
Did they do you know if they said if he's gonna have any more Spider-Man movies?
He signed on for 3 more. I don't know if it's 3
Oh.
more. I don't know if it's 3 more solo movies, or if it's just 3 movies in general.
Interesting. Okay.
But his contract gives him 3 more appearances. So I would assume we at least get 1 more, maybe 1 or 2 more solos. Plus he's
Okay.
part of something else. That's what I would see. Maybe like he finishes up. And I think it would be great, man. I think he finished up with Tom Holland after his contract's up, and then that's when you bring in Miles Morales to like
Yeah.
keep the Spider-Man momentum going.
Yeah, definitely.
And then maybe you bring in the Gwen Stacy Spider-Man from the animated thing too.
Yeah, Spider Gwen or something like
Yeah. Or yeah, like they could bring in the pig.
that.
I don't know how that would look live action, but like you said, there's literally infinite. There's so many Spider-Man characters
Right.
in comics anyway.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
there's just so many versions of Spider-Man. But I'm glad this version that we have right now is really good too. And so I guess before we wrap up, we do have one more, I think, pretty major thing that we haven't touched upon. And you, I think, were the first person to mention his name, but Doctor Strange plays a big role in this movie. And we also got a good look at what he's doing after. Were you expecting a full-on trailer? Like as it was happening,
I did not.
I was like, this is a trailer. What was your reaction to the trailer and what the implications of it?
See, I kind of I was shocked that like it was like a full-on trailer because usually at the end of the credits it's usually like, you know, something like almost something pointless, you know, kind of thing like that.
Yeah, something fun.
Yeah, right. Something like just kind of like for like giggles or whatever. But this was, like you said, this was a full-on trailer. And I mean, we kind of saw a glimpse of it at the end of WandaVision.
Yeah.
Seeing Wanda, like, you know, casting some sort of spell, and I'm like, oh, there's got to be something with Doctor Strange, you know.
Yeah.
And to see them work now, they're going to be working together in this. What's the name of the second Doctor Strange movie?
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, exactly. So, and him going against pretty much himself, like, you know, like from a different universe.
It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, so it's I mean, even just the way everything looks, like with like everything looks like ridiculous, like already, like, you know, just the effects and everything, you know. So, and I believe it's coming up. It's not too far away. I believe it's in May, right? May of this upcoming year.
Yeah, it was originally set for March, and then they pushed it back to May. Maybe there's like post-production stuff they have to figure out, but
right.
Yeah.
So that one is
very
like
soon. Very soon.
Exactly. So and we haven't had a Doctor Strange movie since, when was the original one came out? That was like a while back.
It was like 2017, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while. So I mean, obviously we've seen him in Avengers and all that, but I mean, this is the first time we're gonna get him in, like you said, probably in 5 years. So so I'm curious to see who else, like from the other, like, you know, who else shows up, what other Avengers shows up. And just for him to see like how does, because I mean, he did create this mess, you know what I mean? He did create this like multiverse himself. So, and just to see, like, you know, again, like all, like just how everything ties together. It's like, I love how Marvel's like tying everything together just from their timelines. It's ridiculous. Like it's almost mind blowing. And like I was saying in our group chat, it's just that like we're blessed to like see all these like freaking movies. It's like this like goes beyond our imaginations, you know, kind of thing. Even as a kid, like you're just like seeing these things, you're like, you couldn't even like think of these things, and for us to see it in movies, for us to see it happen, like it's like we didn't even ask for this, but like holy crap, like this is amazing. And that's why like, I mean, Marvel sets the bar, you know. They set the standard for like superhero movies. So I mean, I'm excited as hell for this upcoming movie.
Yeah. I tell people, man, if like there's very few people that I trust, you know, more than Kevin Feige these days. Like there's one person who, you know, you can trust besides, you know, like you can trust God, you can trust family. You know, if you have a wife, you like you do, you can trust your wife. But after that, I think the next most trustworthy person I know, that the one dude that has yet to really, like, besides Eternals, but I'm gonna give him some leeway there. But other than that, like Kevin Feige, man, that's one dude you can put all your trust in.
Right.
And like you said, yeah, they've done a good job of making things in their history significant. I think it's by design that the Battle of New York in 2012, the first Avengers, they keep going back to that because they obviously went back to it in Endgame, and it's kind of like one of those. I know you haven't watched Loki yet, but there's something that they mention. It's called like oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher it now. I'm forgetting it. But like they basically say, I think it's called a nexus point or something like that. But basically, it's saying that like there's a certain point in history, and it comes up in the What If series. If you've seen, have you seen What If?
I have not. No, I haven't.
Okay, yeah, but so basically, it's saying that like there's certain points in history that have to happen in order for the timeline. Like there are some things that can like be a little bit like out of order, or whatever. But like certain people have to die. Certain blah 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 has to happen. And it's one of those where the Battle of New York had to happen. And I think the snap is another one that had to happen because they keep even all this stuff that keeps happening afterwards, like Spider-Man Homecoming. Battle of New York is pretty significant because that's how Vulture got his tech.
Right, got his stuff, yeah.
Yeah. It's not MCU related, but also like Battle of New York is how Wilson Fisk rises to power as Kingpin in the Netflix series. Like that's how he's able to take control of the city. They go back to it in, this is not really that much of a spoiler, honestly, but like they go back to it in the Hawkeye show, in the first episode, just basically showing how Kate Bishop wanted to become like Hawkeye is because she saw him during the Battle of New York. And then there's like a bunch of callbacks to Endgame as well. And so I feel like they've done a really good job of making all that significant. And like, obviously watching the first Avengers in 2012, you never would have thought that this was going to lead to everything we have almost 10 years later.
Right, exactly.
And I think it's crazy too. Like you said, like Strange basically created all this because something that was explained in a video that I watched is that every time that Strange does one of these big spells, like when he, like the snap is technically one of those big spells that kind of like changes reality a bit. And they talk about it in the Eternals. The spell that he cast here, it again like kind of changes time. So like, and in the trailer they said like the biggest like thing that he has to face is himself, which is Evil Strange. And people think it's the Evil Strange from What If, but I don't think so because that Strange is like actually doing something still. Like he's trapped in a dimension, and he's guarding another dimension. So you'll have to watch to understand, but like, so it's, I don't think it's specifically that Strange from What If, the evil one. This is just like if you've seen Loki or if you just know anything about deviants, like there's infinite deviants because there's so many different like dimensions in the multiverse. So there's like 1,000 caps running around. There's 1,000
right
running around. So like this may not be the specific evil Strange from What If, but this is an evil Strange in general, and I'm very interested to see like how that goes down because it's going to be but yeah, so, and I think I have to watch. Have you like, do you remember a lot of the first Strange movie?
I don't remember. I mean, I know that like his wife was what's her name?
McAdams.
Yeah. So and then she I mean, but like they kind of show that on the trailer, right? Like him watching her like get married kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean I probably have to watch the Doctor Strange movie again to see.
I think so. I have to also.
Because and like you were mentioning, like it's still just the fact like of how impactful the Battle of New York was, and then like even like exactly, all the movies they're still somehow mentioning it, and like you said, like the snap, the blip, pretty much how like you know they're tying it back together with like, oh, this person came back 5 years later, you know, whatnot. So no, it's pretty dope, like just how they're like, I mean, they must have had like some sort of like, they must have wrote everything, like, or at least kind of like the major points of each movie or each story for them to kind of like tie everything together. Like,
I think so for sure. Feige, I mean, apparently Feige had been working on this ever since, I forgot, because I know obviously he wasn't like the main MCU guy when he first started, but he was either in one of the X-Men movies or the first Spider-Man. I can't remember. I have to look back at like what I've seen, but like he was like a low on the totem pole in the production team of like those movies. And they said when he was doing that, he was already thinking about Iron Man, Captain America, and like all that stuff.
Wow.
So I have a feeling that like we're in phase 4 right now. He probably was thinking about phase 4 during phase 2, like stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Right.
like this dude probably has spent so many like sleepless nights
Mhm.
just to give us like from like a
All
decade
this.
ago.
Yeah,
To give us
exactly.
this. So like when this man is finally ready to like rest and retire, he's gonna be one of the more deserving people.
Right. Oh
Um,
gosh. That's
but I do have
hilarious.
one last question. So they showed Wanda in the trailer, and like you said, last time we saw Wanda, she was using the Darkhold, and we know that she wants to find her kids. Like that's her main motive for navigating through the multiverse and learning about it. There's no mention of that, and they kind of showed Wanda being like a lot more of like a good guy than we last saw.
Yeah.
Um, do you think at any point she turns on him, or do you think, because I feel like it's too predictable for her just to be willing to be so helpful
Yeah.
the whole movie?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, that it's
That'd
funny
be-
that you mentioned that. I never even thought of that. I mean, she might have a different motive. You know,
Yeah,
maybe
that she's
like
just
have
not.
right. Yeah, like maybe have Strange help. She helps Strange, and Strange somehow like helps her
Yeah, they're
find
like
their kids or something like
Yeah, okay.
something like that, right? And then yeah, like I don't know. Like I think that like you said, I think it's just there's just so many like there's things that we can kind of like have a theory on, like, oh, is I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what they do
Yeah.
with Wanda. Because she did mention you know, what she did at what are they called? East
Westview.
Lake?
Yeah.
Westview, yeah. So she kind of mentioned that on the trailer. So Strange is familiar with like what she did, you know.
Yeah.
So he knows what she can do pretty much,
Mhm.
right?
That's
Like,
true. Yeah,
and
that's true.
so yeah, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, it just seemed like she was a little too calm in the trailer. So it's like there's got to be something up, but
Yeah.
I guess obviously they don't want to like reveal everything about.
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's the first trailer, right?
Yeah, first one too. Yeah, there's probably going to be a couple more. So
right, exactly. So
yeah, I think that one. I don't know if it'll be as hyped as the Spider-Man one, just because there was so much history in the Spider-Man one. But just seeing that trailer gives like a lot of hope for that movie as well.
yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be pretty insane. So
yeah.
man, Multiverse of Madness coming up, and then there's a bunch of like other shows coming out this year before that for Disney. I think the She-Hulk one is the first one to drop.
Oh, no way.
February, yeah. It's gonna be like they got a ton of stuff coming up. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited for. Obviously, Daryl, you gotta catch up on Loki and Hawkeye first.
I'm kind of behind.
Yeah. Oh, see, it's different, man. Because I remember you used to watch like all the shows.
Yeah, I know.
Lunch break.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot,
Hey, man, now you can watch it now that you're home. You got no reason to.
No, I take a nap during my lunch breaks now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's gonna wrap us up for this episode. Man, we had a lot of stuff going on tonight.
I know.
We had
so
Kyle.
many stuff.
I think Kyle came through the multiverse portal for
I know he did.
and then,
that's good.
but then he like went straight back to his timeline. So I don't know what that was. And then Daryl's
hilarious.
laptop died too. So we had a lot of stuff going on.
This
I'm
is gonna
surprised.
This is gonna be a fun edit. This is gonna be
Oh
a fun
yeah,
edit.
dude. The editing is gonna be very interesting. Luckily we started this early, so I don't have to edit it super late.
Right.
So I'm happy about
exactly.
that. But before we go, Daryl, do you have any last words? I don't know if you want to mention something fantasy related. I know you had a tough
man, it was a tough week in fantasy. But I mean it's crazy just because like I feel like we're trying to deal with like, you know, all these players getting COVID, and I think it's the fact that it's happening during like the playoffs of fantasy football. It's like unreal because like honestly, you could be a top seed, like you could have all the best players, and I mean if your player goes down with COVID, like it's like you're kind of screwed. You know what I mean? Like so it's really up for grabs. And so I mean I think it'll be interesting. I know it sucks that I'm not part of it, but I mean I'm rooting for my guys. JQ, Kyle, and Pau. Sorry, Anton, but you won last year and you have all the best players. So I'm rooting for everyone but you. So yeah, good luck to everyone.
Yeah, we got a high percentage that somebody on the pod is gonna come away with the title. 75%
definitely.
chance. Imagine how mad do you think people would be if all 4 of us were in the semis?
I know, seriously. They think it's rigged or something.
I know, yeah, for real. But yeah, condolences to your fantasy team. You had a really tough week. Like you had like
oh my gosh,
it was or something like that.
Yeah,
it was
that's
really
hard.
bad.
That's tough to do in your in our league just because like
It's
6
full-
points is for like passing touchdowns,
Yeah,
full point
full point.
PPR kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know. So it's like to not get 100, it's actually kind of hard to do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
It
I
sucks.
somehow managed to do it. So
Yeah, your players
Oh, God.
basically saved their worst performance.
definitely
Collectively.
perfect timing.
Playoffs.
Oh geez.
But yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Condolences, but hey, you beat me for the 5th place.
I hate you. That's not even a trophy. You know what I mean? There's not even a trophy in Yahoo for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's no trophy, no ribbon. It's literally just it's just a reason for us to keep playing after we get
Yeah.
eliminated, basically.
seriously. But
But yeah, so yeah, my final words are also fantasy related. Taking on Pau, and it's gonna be bittersweet.
that should be fun.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of trash talking this weekend during Christmas.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a very not joyful Christmas for one of us.
At least one of you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That'll be funny.
that'll be a tough matchup, and then Kyle's taking on my brother, who it's funny you said like the top seed has the best players. Literally, our top seed has like the 3 best players. In
Yeah,
fantasy right now.
definitely. The best receiver, the best running back, the best tight end.
The best tight end. Luckily, well, not luckily, because obviously it's sad that Kelsey has COVID, but he got COVID, so maybe he won't be playing. But I also don't have Tyreek Hill, so hopefully I'm able to get him on like one of those delayed games or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantasy's gonna be interesting. Kyle is very adamant that he's like it's his destiny to win, and I wish he was still here right now, so that we could hear how delirious he is. But yeah, pray for him, y'all. He's all in on himself this year. He's all in on the Cowboys, and we all know better. We all know better what's about to happen. So
Yeah.
pray for Kyle. Hopefully,
Pray for the Bears. Pray for the Texans.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We
please.
both have
Please.
terrible franchises.
Yeah, luckily we have the Rockets and the Bulls, and even though our record's not good, we're at least fun to watch. And the Bulls are a legit team.
Yeah, definitely.
Right now. I know y'all have a couple people on like the COVID list, but
Yeah.
Levine's not playing, right?
No, he's still out. But DeRozan, man, he's coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude.
Like, he's
First
like-
game back was nice.
Yeah, he's playing like he's like 10 years younger. Like, I mean, you could argue he's like in the like MVP watch kind of thing, you know. But I mean, he's
Sure,
probably
yeah, I
not up there with KD and like Steph, but
He could be like a top
mean,
10.
yeah, he's carrying our team
Yeah.
right now. So yeah, definitely
it's
something
exciting.
to look forward
Yeah.
to.
And I'm sure one of these days, I know some people have asked us. Surprisingly, like I always thought whenever we talk sports, like nobody wants to hear that. But I've actually had a couple people ask me, like, "Oh, you're going to talk about fantasy or like basketball or stuff like that?" I was like, "I guess." But yeah, so obviously,
Wait, they asked if we're gonna talk about fantasy or
yeah, because
football?
they just noticed, like some people have noticed that we haven't, like we didn't talk about fantasy all season.
Oh.
Part of that is because none of us
We haven't really recorded since the
exactly,
football season started. Well, I mean, I know you and Pau have, and you've kind of like carried the load for like with other guests.
Gotta
too,
stay
so-
active somehow.
Yeah.
You know? Gotta stay
I mean,
active somehow.
that's why you're the commissioner.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I'm sure at some point next year, especially when we get to like closer to the All-Star break, we'll probably talk some basketball.
Yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
I think there's more stuff. There's not really a lot to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Basketball, just because like most teams,
I
like
mean-
the Rockets are one of the only teams without we have hurt players, but we're one of the only teams without people on protocol. Like
COVID,
us,
yeah.
like I don't think Phoenix has anybody in protocol, and I don't think like I don't know who's bad right now. The Pacers, they probably don't have anyone in protocol, but like yeah, it's really weird time in the
Yeah.
NBA.
And I mean, there's only been like 20, 25 games that's been played too.
Yeah, that's
so like a lot can happen.
Really early. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I know unfortunately, like you mentioned, like in our group chat, like for the upcoming Christmas games, I mean
Dude,
the Nets have like nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even who are they playing? Are they playing
They're playing LA.
Well, the Lakers have, I mean, Anthony Davis is out, but James is still there. Right?
Yeah, LeBron and Russ?
And Melo should still be in it.
Melo
So-
for sure.
Yeah,
I know,
but
I know THT is in protocol and some of the
Yeah.
other real players.
but the Nets literally have nobody.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they got like a G League like starting lineup.
Yeah, and then KD. Like KD is just gonna walk out there
Yeah.
by himself, probably.
Right, drop 50 and like and
Yeah,
we'll see.
like,
We'll see what
I
happens.
was looking at the matchups. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think as of right now, the Suns and Warriors game is the only game where neither team has people in protocol.
Oh, that should be fun.
So
should be
yeah,
fun.
like because I'm not sure if hopefully Giannis can make it back when they play. I think I forgot who they're playing, but I know they're playing, and I know the Knicks and the Hawks are playing. But like Trae Young just got into protocol, so did Clint Capella. So they're probably
probably gonna
they
be
just
out.
got it this week, so they definitely aren't playing.
They're probably gonna be out.
And I don't know if RJ Barrett's gonna make it back for New. So like a bunch of teams are. It's gonna be a weird Christmas.
I know.
Weird
I know.
one, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's just stuff to look forward to. Hopefully we can do our best of like we did last year. It'll probably be like next year though. It probably won't be like next week.
It'll be in like April or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
2021.
But hopefully we can figure out something in January. We'll talk about the best shows because there were a lot of really good shows again that came out this year. And maybe by then, Daryl, you can watch at least Loki.
I know, at least one of the shows.
Yeah, at least one of them. So you could talk about that as well. But yeah, a lot to look forward to. Coming to a close of our year. Obviously, big thank you to all of our supporters. And again, just if you haven't already, just hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Instagram, Twitter. We're basically everywhere except Facebook because that's just we don't do that. We don't do that stuff. And of course, thank you to Daryl for being here and Kyle for the 5 minutes that he gave us.
Or showing up from the random universities.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to another episode. We will see you guys in 2022. Until then, peace out. God bless.
Merry Christmas, y'all.